So former President Trump campaigning in another blue city. This time it's in a battleground state, might be the most important one, holding a rally Saturday in Philadelphia, a month after his event in the South Bronx. Correspondent Alexis McAdams spoke with the former president at the rally in Philadelphia. Watch.
When you go to these urban areas specifically, right, what is the game plan? When you're going to Philly, you're going to the Bronx, what's the plan?
It's no game plan. It's just there's a lot of love. You know, they want hope. There's no hope with this guy Biden. He's the worst president we've ever had. There's no hope. And I say it all the time now. I started like a week ago. I didn't even realize it. I'm saying the people need hope. I go out, I see the greatest people. So we're in the middle of a pretty rough area, and it's a love fest. You see that? It's incredible. They want hope. They want to have a future. Listen to the people. And these are not people that would normally be going wild. It's been amazing.
Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell is here. 2 years ago today, his 18-year-old brother Christian was shot and killed in Chicago. And now Gianno is launching the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety, dedicated to ensuring a justice system that prioritizes the safety and security of all law-abiding citizens. Gianno, we know this is a difficult day for you. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years. It seems like yesterday to us, so I can only imagine how quickly it's gone for you. You know, when you watch these stories that we're covering now, this 12-year-old girl, yes, you certainly can sympathize with these families.
Absolutely. And right off the bat, thank you, Martha. 2 years ago, you reached out to me immediately to give your condolences to my family. And I got to tell you, the reason I launched the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety because I'm sick and tired of what I've seen go on in this country. You know, we work in the news business, so we cover these stories, but they've been so much more frequent these last several years. And we know why they've been so frequent, because a person by the name of George Soros has invested millions of dollars to reshape the judicial system and install these progressive prosecutors, those like Kim Foxx, who just charged some kids who beat up an older couple that was downtown Chicago, one pregnant, lost her baby, misdemeanors. That's what she's doing, misdemeanors. Meanwhile, somebody threw a big gulp on her and she charged them with 2 felonies. There is a 2-tier system of justice in this country, and innocent people are receiving the bad end of it, and that must change. So what am I doing with the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety? I've brought in people like Pam Bundy, the former Attorney General of Florida, Dr. Drew Pinsky, who's helped me with mental health, him and my cousin, who's a PhD clinician, Dan Kirk, who's a former prosecutor in the Cook County Prosecutor's Office, Joel Fitzgerald, who's that current police chief, and his son was that Temple University police officer who was murdered. And many other folks from the White House and other places, but we need to change the direction of this country. And I encourage people to go to caldwellinstitute.org so we can continue this work.
We encourage that as well, caldwellinstitute.org. You know, it's interesting. Former President Trump is really trying to persuade voters in urban areas that he can provide a safer environment. And that obviously is problematic for Biden and Harris. And Kamala Harris said this on Morning Joe this morning. She said that basically President Trump had suggested that his indictments made people in certain urban communities relate to him better. You know, you could talk about the context of that statement, but here she is. She's responding to that. Watch.
It's insulting. Yeah. It's insulting for a number of reasons, including he has reduced a whole population of people down to a sum total of what is in his mind who they are. And he's wrong. And he's wrong.
So is that going to work with what matters to people in urban areas, that pushback?
I don't think so, because I know that there are folks that I've spoken to who said, man, this feels kind of familiar. This feels like an era that black men went through something similarly with the justice system not necessarily being there for them, is what I've heard. Now, do I agree with that sentiment? That's up for other people to decide. But I got to tell you, him going to these particular communities, places Republicans don't necessarily go, I think is doing a great justice for his campaign. Black folks never had real experiences with Republicans. They never met, many of them haven't met a Republican in real life. So the fact that he's going in and saying, I understand your concerns. I know that you're scared to go out at night. I know that the people in your local jurisdiction aren't taking care of you, and they've been lying to you for over 50 years about what they're willing to do because your community's in shambles. Education system, bad. Economic situation, situation. Bad. Democrats, what do you have? To say that somebody's racist? That doesn't get it. That dog won't hunt anymore. That's why we need to change the trajectory. I do believe Donald Trump should be the next president of the United States, and I believe that he can bring this country back onto his feet, because we've been losing out with Joe Biden as president, and conservatives and independents and Democrats alike know it. We all know it. So I'm hopeful that he's going to continue with the crime message, because it does resonate. And certainly for me, with the Caldwell Institute of Public Safety, we're going to be doing the work. So please go there. Please follow me on social media at Gianno Caldwell.
Well, we certainly encourage that, and our condolences to your family again. I think it's always interesting in campaigns to watch where the candidates are going. You know, where are they spending their time and money? And last time around, it was rural areas that the Trump team went to, and those people said the same thing. No one ever comes here. No one campaigns here.
That's true. That's true.
And now it's urban areas where he is doing that. So we'll see. We're watching every step of the way. Gianno, good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Martha.
Thank you very much for the work you're doing.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.